What's going on, guys? So, a couple little shameless plugs and suggestions here for you. It's currently a balmy 45 degrees, which, I know for some of y'all that's not terribly cold, but it's raining pretty good and has been all day. There's been a bit of a wind blowing, and it's kind of died down for now. But regardless, here's what I wanted to point out, and you'll have to forgive the four-legged pooches in the background. And just so y'all can hear me better. So, this is one of those instances right now where you got to be a little selective with your clothing choices and how you're going to set things up. If you were actually going to have to be out in this kind of environment, be it having to do security in a grid down type situation, or even just having to live out in this kind of environment. It's not below freezing, okay? But 45 is 45. 45 is the same here as it is anywhere else. The problem is it's also raining. And this is that temperature zone where you can easily get hypothermia in this kind of weather. With the breeze that's blowing, with the rain, with the temperatures. If you got really wet and had to be out in this for a while, you could find yourself in serious trouble. Remember, your body temperature doesn't have to get down to 30 or 40 degrees. 96 degrees, your body's in hypothermia, okay? Which is not good. But if I'm going to be up active doing things in this regard, there comes in the point of, okay, my body's going to be generating heat. I got to balance that out. I don't want to get overly hot and sweaty, but I don't want to be cold and wet either. So combination of things here, and I'm getting to a point, so bear with me. You've got to layer a little bit. Now, I would want to maintain my camouflage layer on the outside of my rain gear until someone invents patterned rain gear that I like. Now, with that said, in hot weather, I typically will completely forego rain gear, because in the southeastern US during the summer, if you put rain gear on and get out and try to do anything, you're going to be wetter from the sweat that you generate than you will be from the rain itself. At least the rain is clean and not all salty and sticky. I'd rather wear clothes that are going to dry out fast, Nyko blended materials, polycotton, that sort of thing, and get wet, cool off, and then dry out, than to try to keep from getting wet. In this kind of environment though, that can be a little tricky. You don't necessarily want to get wet because hypothermia can set in really easily. If you're up moving and generating body heat, not so much, but as soon as you stop, it can happen pretty quick. So the approach that I like to take, because I'm a big fan of the versatility, is using 241 Tacticals, either their top jacket, which is the pullover, or the smock light like this one that's the zip up. You guys seen me do videos on those before. I really like the versatility of these things for a single layer. In the summertime, you can wear it like a BDU top. Get it. He sizes them a little bit on the big side so they're kind of loose. So if you get your size, it'll be a little loose, which is intentional. Let some air flow in the hot weather. In colder weather, you got room to layer underneath a little bit. In rainy weather like this, I'll put my warming layers and my rainproof layers underneath this and let this go over top of it. That'll do two things. It gives me my camouflage on the outside, and this is also, being Nyko material, is typically quieter than most of your most of your rainproof stuff. So for something like this, what I would utilize is probably just what I've got right now, maybe sans one or two things. So 241 Tactical fleece beanie, 241 Tactical Net Gator, 241 Tactical Smock Light. There's a trend there. I don't know if you can pick up on that or not. There's a trend there. Underneath what I'm running, just so you guys can see, is this is my Tru-Spec 24/7 soft shell jacket. Now it's got a thin fleece layer to it. It's not overly thick and heavy, and it's water resistant on the outside. Now it's not 100% waterproof like an actual hard shell is going to be. You can utilize an actual hard shell. If it's just absolutely downpouring, that might be the way to go underneath this. But for this kind of light, steady rain we've got going on, the soft shell will do okay. It'll keep me dry. My upper body won't be getting wet and chilled off. I can layer underneath this as needed depending on how the temperature goes, etc. The one thing I probably wouldn't do for this temperature, if I was actually moving and going, be it trying to travel on foot or even doing security, that sort of thing, I would probably shed the fleece beanie and go back to just a plain ball cap or a boonie cap, because these things are ridiculously efficient at retaining heat in your head. Can't recommend them enough. So, my point in plugging all this is, you can get all three of these items, plus others, from 241 in just about any camo pattern you can think of. I know he's got the multicam stuff, he's got ATAX, he's got a couple of other ones. This one is all ATAX FGX, which is the newest version that's coming out, etc. So you can get whatever you want. You can even get your own material and send it to him, and he'll make a top or a smock light in whatever pattern you want if you send the material. You've got options there. Now, the other thing, because you guys know I love one-stop shops, is I'm a big fan of Tru-Spec. I like Tru-Spec's camis, their BDUs, their TRU line. I like their jackets. I like their soft shells. I like it all. Well, as a coincidence or not, 241 is now a Tru-Spec dealer as well. So if there's anything that you want from Tru-Spec, you can get it through 241 in addition to their stuff. Tru-Spec is fixing to release their new BDU Extreme in the ATAX patterns, FGX, IX, AUX, Ghost, and I think the Snow pattern as well. A pair of Tru-Spec, the new BDU Extreme stuff, a pair of those pants and one of Sean's tops, you're in like Flynn. Again, I like one-stop shops, and you're also supporting a fellow small business owner that's additionally a patriotic American for those that pay attention to that. 24/7 soft shell jackets, you can get those from Sean. Boonie hats, contractor caps. He's got it through Tru-Spec and his stuff. Guys, there's not a whole lot that you could want for inclement weather that you can't get from 241 Tactical. What else was I going to mention? Oh yeah, 241 has got some of the Tru-Spec H2O proof jackets in. Now, Sean and I have been talking about those. Years ago, many years ago, I had one of the H2O jackets. I wasn't overly pleased with it. That said, I think they've made some significant changes to them in recent years. Again, that was years ago when I had it. And I think they've turned those into a really good wet weather option. Before I say that definitively, it's on my list to pick up, and I'll try one out and let you guys know if it's working or not. So, bottom line here is you don't have to break the bank to get good inclement weather clothing that'll cover you year-round, hot weather, cold weather, wet weather, whatever. You can get good stuff. It might not impress your friends with all the super name brand tags on it, which means jack crap to me, but quite honestly, I think Tru-Spec's a pretty doggone good name brand. But you can get it all at 241 Tactical. Again, yes, this is a shameless plug. 241, Sean's a friend of mine. He's a fellow small business owner. He and I talk very regularly, so I make no apologies for plugging his stuff. Even though he's my friend, if it wasn't good, I wouldn't be plugging it to you guys. So, don't let weather like this stop you and make you think you can't get out in it and do what you need to do. You can. Anything you can get from Sean. I typically can do gear and stuff to match it. Another shameless plug for myself. I've got some related upcoming videos I want to do, but for now, I think we'll leave that on this note. Check out 241. I'll put a link in the description box as always. Tell Sean you saw this video and that I referred you, and support him just like you guys support me, not only here on the channel but over at my business. I don't think you'll regret it. So take care, guys. Stay dry. I'm going to finish wandering around a little bit and then probably go back inside and get a nice warm cup of coffee to sit by the small fire. Can't do a big fire, it ain't quite cold enough, but I can do a small fire. Fire and coffee always works. Stay safe, take care, and I'll see you in another one.